Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Speak Now. I'm Anna.
And I'm David. Thanks for joining us today. We're so excited to have you here.
David, I have to tell you something funny that happened to me yesterday. I was at the coffee shop and I heard this conversation between two people. One person said, "I am going to home now." And I thought, oh no, that's one of those mistakes we hear all the time.
Oh, yes. I hear that one a lot too. You know what, Anna? I think our listeners would really benefit from talking about these common mistakes today.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So today, we're going to talk about 5 mistakes that English learners make every single day. These are mistakes we hear all the time, and the good news is they're really easy to fix.
Absolutely. And we're going to make this fun. We'll give you lots of examples, some little stories, and Anna and I will even act out some conversations to show you the right way and the wrong way.
That's right. And don't worry if you've made these mistakes before. I made them when I was learning other languages too. Making mistakes is how we learn.
Exactly. So grab your notebook, get comfortable, and let's start learning together. Are you ready, Anna?
I'm ready. Let's dive into mistake number 1.
Okay, so our first mistake is something I hear multiple times every day. People say, "I go to home," or "I'm going to home." Anna, can you tell us why this is wrong?
Sure. So the mistake is adding to before home. In English, home is special. It's what we call an adverb of place, which means we don't need to before it. We just say go home, not go to home.
That's right. Let me give you 3 examples of the mistake. Wrong, "I want to go to home now." Wrong, "She goes to home every evening." Wrong, "Are you going to home after work?"
And here are the correct versions. Correct. "I want to go home now." Correct. "She goes home every evening." Correct. "Are you going home after work?"
Now, here's something important to remember. We do use to with other places. For example, "I'm going to school." "Let's go to the park." "She's going to work." But home is different.
Exactly. Think of it this way. Home is not just a place. It's where you belong. It's special, so it doesn't need to. You just go home.
I love that. And here's another tip. If you can replace the word with there, you probably don't need to. For example, "I'm going home" equals "I'm going there." But "I'm going to school" equals "I'm going there" doesn't work the same way.
Actually, let me share a quick story about this. When I was learning Spanish, I kept saying voy a casa, which means I go to house. But in Spanish, you can say voy a casa or just voy casa. It confused me so much. Every language has its own rules.
That's such a good point. It shows that even teachers make mistakes when learning languages. The important thing is to practice and remember the rule.
Exactly. So let's practice right now. I'll say a sentence, and you, our listeners, try to say it correctly. Ready? Yesterday, I was tired, so I decided to go to home.
Did you catch the mistake? It should be, "I decided to go home."
Perfect. One more. My friend invited me to dinner, but I told her I needed to go to home first.
The correct version is, "I told her I needed to go home first."
Great job, everyone. Now, let's move on to mistake number 2.
Our second mistake is about 2 little words that cause big problems: do and make. Anna, I bet you hear this mistake all the time.
Oh, yes. Just last week, a student told me, "I need to make my homework." And I thought, well, that's creative, but not quite right.
That's funny. So let's explain this. In English, we use do for activities and tasks, and we use make for creating or producing something.
Right. Here are 3 common mistakes with make. Wrong. I need to make my homework. Wrong. She makes exercise every morning. Wrong. Can you make me a favor?
And here are the correct versions. Correct. I need to do my homework. Correct. She does exercise every morning, or she exercises every morning. Correct. Can you do me a favor?
Now let's look at when we do use make. We use make when we create or produce something. I make breakfast every morning. You create breakfast. She makes beautiful art. She creates art. They make a lot of noise. They produce noise.
Exactly. Think of it this way. If you can touch or see the result, you probably make it. If it's an activity or task, you probably do it.
That's a great way to think about it. Let me give you some more examples. We do homework, housework, business, research, and exercise.
We make food, money, friends, mistakes, and plans.
Ooh, that's interesting. We make mistakes. So I could say, I made a mistake with do and make yesterday.
Exactly. And speaking of mistakes, here's something tricky. We say make a decision, but do a job. Can you guess why?
Let me think. When you make a decision, you're creating something. You're creating a choice. But when you do a job, you're performing an activity.
Perfect. That's exactly right. Let's do another role play. This time, I'll be the one making mistakes, and David can help me.
Sounds good. Go ahead.
David, I'm so busy today. I have to make my laundry, make some exercise, and then make my English homework. After that, I want to make some shopping.
Wow, you are busy. But let me help you with those verbs. You need to do your laundry, do some exercise, and do your homework. For shopping, we usually say go shopping or do some shopping.
Oh, so I do all of those activities?
That's right. You do activities and tasks. You make things when you create them.
That was helpful. Now, here's a fun memory trick. Do has 2 letters and is for simple activities. Make has 4 letters and is for creating things, which is more complex.
I like that. Here's another way to remember. Do sounds like action. You do activities. Make sounds like create. You make things.
Let me share a story about this. When I first started learning English, I told my host family, I will make cleaning my room now. They looked so confused. They thought I was going to create some kind of new cleaning method.
That's hilarious. I bet they figured it out quickly, though.
They did, and they were very patient with me. That's why we want to help you avoid these mistakes, so you can communicate clearly from the beginning.
Absolutely. Now, there are some fixed expressions you just have to memorize. Let me give you a few important ones.
Do expressions. Do your best. Do business. Do the dishes. Do your hair. Do research.
Make expressions. Make progress. Make an effort. Make sense. Make up your mind. Make time.
Those are really useful. And here's some good news. Native speakers sometimes mix these up too, especially in casual conversation. So don't worry if it takes time to learn.
That's true. The most important thing is to keep practicing. Let's do a quick practice round. I'll say a sentence with a blank, and you think about whether it should be do or make.
Great idea. Here we go. I need to blank some research for my project.
The answer is do. I need to do some research.
Perfect. One more. Can you help me blank dinner tonight?
This one is make. Can you help me make dinner?
Excellent. The key is to practice these every day. Use them in your own sentences, and soon it will become natural.
Now, let's talk about mistake number 3, which is about a little word that causes big confusion.
Mistake number 3 is about the word the. This little word is probably the most difficult part of English grammar.
Oh, definitely. I remember when I was helping my friends learn English, he said, "I love the music, the sports, and the books." It sounded strange, but I couldn't explain why at first.
That's perfect example. The mistake is using the when we talk about things in general. When we talk about general concepts like music, sports, or books in general, we don't use the.
Right. Let me give you 3 examples of this mistake. Wrong. The children love the chocolate. Wrong. The music is important in the life. Wrong. I don't like the vegetables.
And here are the correct versions. Correct. Children love chocolate. Talking about children and chocolate in general. Correct. Music is important in life. Talking about music and life in general. Correct. I don't like vegetables. Talking about vegetables in general.
Now, here's the tricky part. Sometimes we do use the with these same words. It depends on whether we're talking about something general or something specific.
Exactly. For example, I love music. Music in general. I love the music in this restaurant. Specific music. Or, books are expensive. Books in general. The books on my desk are expensive. Specific books.
This is why the is so confusing. Let's do a role play to show the difference. Anna, you be someone who uses the too much, and I'll help you.
Okay. As a student. David, I want to tell you about my interests. I love the art, the photography, and the cooking. I also enjoy the traveling and learning about the different cultures.
I can see you have many interests, but when you talk about these things in general, you don't need the. You can say, I love art, photography, and cooking. I also enjoy traveling and learning about different cultures. Oh, so I only use the when I talk about specific things?
Exactly. If you said, I love the art in this museum, or I enjoy the cooking at my grandmother's house, then you would use the because you're talking about specific art or specific cooking.
That was really helpful. Now let me give you a simple rule. If you can say, in general, after your sentence, don't use the.
That's brilliant. Let's try it. I like coffee in general. Tick, don't use the. I like the coffee in general. X, this doesn't make sense.
Perfect. Here are some more examples of when not to use the with general activities. I play soccer, not the soccer. She studies math, not the math. We watch movies, not the movies.
With general concepts, love is important, not the love is important. Health comes first, not the health comes first. Education is expensive, not the education is expensive.
And here are examples of when you do use the when you're talking about something specific. I play the soccer ball you gave me, specific ball. She studies the math that's difficult for her, specific math that's difficult for her. We watch the movies on Netflix, specific movies on a specific platform.
Now I want to share a funny story. When I was learning German, I had the opposite problem. In German, you use articles with almost everything, so I kept forgetting to use the in English when I needed it.
That shows how different languages have different rules. What's your advice for learners who speak languages that use articles differently?
Great question. My advice is to read a lot in English and pay attention to when native speakers use the and when they don't. Also, when you're not sure, ask yourself, am I talking about this thing in general or am I talking about a specific example?
That's excellent advice. Here's another tip. With abstract nouns like love, happiness, education, and freedom, we usually don't use the when we're talking about the concept in general.
Yes, for example, happiness is important, the feeling of happiness in general. Freedom is a human right, the concept of freedom. Education should be free, education as a system.
But if we're talking about something specific, the happiness I felt yesterday was amazing, specific happiness. The freedom in this country is different, specific freedom in a specific place.
Perfect examples. Now let's practice. I'll give you some sentences and think about whether they need the or not. Blank, dogs are friendly animals.
No, the needed. Dogs are friendly animals. We're talking about dogs in general.
Correct. How about I saw blank dogs in the park yesterday?
This one needs the. I saw the dogs in the park yesterday because we're talking about specific dogs that were in the park.
Excellent. One more. Blank technology is changing our world.
No, the. Technology is changing our world because we're talking about technology in general.
Perfect. You're getting good at this. Remember, everyone, this takes practice. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Even advanced learners sometimes struggle with the.
Absolutely. The key is to keep listening and reading, and gradually you'll develop a feeling for when to use the and when not to.
Great advice. Now let's move on to mistake number 4, which is about something we do every day, asking questions. Mistake number 4 is about question word order. This is something I hear almost every day, and it's completely understandable why learners make this mistake.
Yes, the mistake is keeping the same word order in questions as in statements. In many languages, you can just change your voice tone to make a question, but in English, we usually need to change the word order too.
Exactly. Here are 3 common examples of this mistake. Wrong. You are from where? Wrong. She is coming when? Wrong. You like what kind of music?
And here are the correct versions. Correct. Where are you from? Correct. When is she coming? Correct. What kind of music do you like?
So the rule is question word plus auxiliary word plus subject plus main verb. It sounds complicated, but let me break it down. For where are you from? Question word is where. Auxiliary word is are. Subject is you. Main verb is from. Well, it's actually a preposition, but you get the idea.
That's a great breakdown. And here's something that might help. Think of questions as having a special question formula. The question word always comes first, then we flip the subject and verb.
Right. Let's compare statements and questions. Statement: you are happy. Question: are you happy? Statement: she can swim. Question: can she swim? Statement: they will come. Question: will they come?
Perfect examples. Now, when we add question words like where, when, what, how, we put them at the very beginning. Where are you going? When will they arrive? What do you want? How can I help you?
Let's do a role play to show this mistake and the correction. Anna, you be a learner making the mistake, and I'll help.
Okay. As student. David, I want to ask you some questions about your weekend. You did what on Saturday? You went where on Sunday? And you met who at the restaurant?
As teacher, those are great questions, but let me help you with the word order. Instead of you did what on Saturday, we say, what did you do on Saturday? And instead of you went where, we ask, where did you go?
Oh, so the question word comes first, then did, then you, then the main verb?
Exactly. So it becomes, what did you do? Where did you go? And who did you meet?
As normal. That's so helpful. Now, here's something interesting. In very informal, casual conversation, native speakers sometimes use the wrong order too, especially when they're surprised.
That's true. For example, if someone tells you something shocking, you might say, "You did what?" But that's for emphasis and surprise, not for regular questions.
Exactly. For learning purposes, always use the correct question order. It sounds more natural and clear.
Now let's talk about different types of questions. We have yes-no questions and information questions. Yes-no questions. Are you tired? Do you like pizza? Can you swim? Information questions with question words. Where do you live? What time is it? How are you feeling?
That's a great distinction. And here's a tip. With yes-no questions, your voice usually goes up at the end. With information questions, your voice usually goes down at the end.
Good point. Let me demonstrate. Are you coming tonight? Voice goes up. What time are you coming? Voice goes down.
Perfect. Now, I want to share a story about this. When I was learning French, I kept using English question order in French, and it sounded so strange. My French teacher kept correcting me, and I realized that every language has its own question rules.
That's such a good point. It shows that this is a normal part of language learning. In some languages, you don't change word order at all for questions. In others, the changes are different from English.
Exactly. So if you're making this mistake, you're in good company. The key is to practice, practice, practice.
Let's practice right now. I'll give you a statement and you try to turn it into a question with the word I give you. Statement. She lives in Tokyo. Question word. Where?
Where does she live?
Perfect. Notice how we added does because the original statement was she lives, third person singular in present tense.
Great example. One more. Statement. They will arrive at 6 p.m. Question word. When?
When will they arrive?
Excellent. Notice that we kept will because it was already in the statement.
Here's a helpful tip. If the statement has am, is, are, was, were, will, can, should, or would, just move those words before the subject. If the statement has other verbs, add do, does, or did.
That's such a useful rule. Let me give some examples. With be verbs, he is tall turns to is he tall or how tall is he? With will, she will come turns to will she come or when will she come? With other verbs, add do, does, or did. You like coffee turns to do you like coffee or what do you like? He played soccer turns to did he play soccer or what did he play?
Those are perfect examples. And remember, everyone, this is one of those things that becomes automatic with practice. The more you make questions, the more natural it becomes.
Absolutely. Try to ask yourself questions throughout the day. What am I doing? Where am I going? How am I feeling? It's great practice.
I love that idea. Now let's talk about our final mistake, which is about a very common word that learners use incorrectly almost every day.
Our fifth and final mistake is overusing the word very. Now, very isn't wrong, but English has so many wonderful, strong adjectives that can replace very plus basic adjective.
This is one of my favorite topics. Instead of saying very good, we can say excellent. Instead of very bad, we can say terrible. It makes your English sound much more natural and interesting.
Exactly. Here are 3 examples of overusing very. Overused, the movie was very good. Overused, I'm very tired. Overused, the test was very difficult.
And here are better alternatives. Better, the movie was excellent, or fantastic, amazing, wonderful. Better, I'm exhausted, or wiped out, drained. Better, the test was challenging, or tough, demanding.
Now, I want to be clear. Very is not wrong. Native speakers use very too. But if you want to sound more advanced and natural, learning these stronger adjectives is really helpful.
Absolutely. Plus, it makes your speaking and writing more colorful and interesting. Let me give you some common very plus adjective combinations and their stronger alternatives. Very big, huge, enormous, massive. Very small, tiny, minuscule. Very hot, boiling, scorching. Very cold, freezing, icy.
Those are great. Here are some more. Very hungry, starving, very thirsty, parched, very angry, furious, very happy, thrilled, delighted, ecstatic.
I love ecstatic. It's such a strong, positive word. Let's do a role play where we compare using very versus using strong adjectives.
Great idea. I'll tell a story using lots of very, and then you tell the same story with strong adjectives. As storyteller 1, yesterday was very bad. I woke up very late and I was very worried about my exam. The weather was very cold, so I was very uncomfortable walking to school. When I got there, I realized I was completely unprepared. But after the exam, I felt very good because I think I did very well.
As storyteller 2, yesterday was terrible. I woke up extremely late and I was panicked about my exam. The weather was freezing, so I was miserable walking to school. When I got there, I realized I was completely unprepared. But after the exam, I felt fantastic because I think I did brilliantly.
As normal. Wow, David's version sounds so much more interesting and natural, doesn't it?
Thanks. And notice that I didn't just replace every very with a strong adjective. Sometimes I used other words like extremely, completely, and absolutely for variety.
That's a great point. You can also use words like really, really tired, extremely, extremely difficult, absolutely, absolutely amazing, completely, completely exhausted.
Yes, and here's something fun. You can combine these with strong adjectives too. Absolutely fantastic, completely exhausted, really challenging.
Perfect. Now, let me share why this matters. When I was learning English, I used very all the time. But when I started using stronger adjectives, people told me my English sounded much more fluent and natural.
That makes sense. It's like the difference between painting with just one color versus painting with many colors. Both work, but one is more interesting and beautiful.
What a lovely comparison. And here's the good news. You don't need to learn hundreds of new words. Start with just a few strong adjectives for the most common situations.
Exactly. Let's focus on the most useful ones. For feelings, very happy, thrilled. Very sad, devastated. Very angry, furious. Very scared, terrified.
Those are perfect to start with. And here's a practice tip. Every time you want to say very plus adjective, pause and ask yourself, is there a stronger adjective I can use instead?
Great advice. Let's practice this right now. I'll give you a very sentence and you think of a stronger alternative. The pizza was very tasty.
The pizza was delicious, or the pizza was scrumptious.
Perfect. One more. I'm very confused about this grammar rule.
I'm completely confused, or I'm totally baffled by this grammar rule.
Excellent. Baffled is a great word that means very confused.
Here's another fun way to practice. When you're watching English movies or TV shows, listen for these strong adjectives. You'll hear them all the time.
That's such good advice. And when you're reading in English, notice how writers use these words to make the writing more interesting.
Absolutely. Now, I want to mention something important. Don't worry about sounding too fancy or showing off. Native speakers use these words in casual conversation all the time.
That's so true. It's completely normal to say, I'm exhausted instead of I'm very tired. Or this is delicious instead of this is very good.
Exactly. And you know what? Even if you use very sometimes, that's perfectly fine. The goal is to have more options and sound more natural, not to never use very again.
Great point. Let me give you one more set of useful alternatives. Very interesting, fascinating, captivating. Very boring, dull, tedious. Very easy, simple, effortless. Very difficult, challenging, demanding.
Those are wonderful. And here's my final tip for this mistake. Start with 1 or 2 strong adjectives that you really like. Use them often and gradually add more to your vocabulary.
Perfect advice. For example, if you love the word fantastic, start using that instead of very good. Once that feels natural, add another strong adjective, like exhausted for very tired.
Exactly. Small steps lead to big improvements in your English fluency.
Well said. And that brings us to the end of our 5 common mistakes. Should we do a quick recap, Anna?
Absolutely. Let's review all 5 mistakes and make sure our listeners remember them.
All right, everyone, let's quickly review the 5 mistakes we talked about today. Anna, want to start with number 1?
Sure. Mistake number 1, don't say go to home. Just say go home. Remember, home is special and doesn't need to before it.
Mistake number 2, be careful with do and make. Use do for activities and tasks like homework and exercise. Use make when you create something like food or plans.
Mistake number 3, don't overuse the with general concepts. Say, I love music, not I love the music when you're talking about music in general.
Mistake number 4, use correct question word order. Say, where are you from, not you are from where. Question word first, then flip the subject and verb.
And mistake number 5, try using strong adjectives instead of always using very. Say exhausted instead of very tired, or fantastic instead of very good.
Perfect recap. Now, I want to say something important to all of our listeners. Making these mistakes is completely normal. Every English learner makes them.
Absolutely. I made all of these mistakes when I was learning English, and you know what? I still make mistakes sometimes. The key is to keep practicing and not be afraid to speak.
That's such good advice. Remember, the goal isn't perfection, it's communication. People will understand you even if you make these mistakes.
But now that you know about these 5 mistakes, you can start paying attention to them in your own English. Every time you catch yourself before making one of these mistakes, celebrate. That's progress.
I love that. And here's what I want you to do this week. Pick just one of these 5 mistakes, the one you think you make most often, and focus on that one. Don't try to fix all 5 at once.
That's excellent advice. If you think you say go to home a lot, just focus on saying go home this week. If you mix up do and make, practice those. Small steps, big results.
And remember, you can always come back and listen to this episode again. We know there was a lot of information today.
Definitely. In fact, I recommend listening to each section a few times. Focus on one mistake per week, and in 5 weeks, you'll have improved all of these areas.
That sounds like a perfect plan. Now, before we finish, we want to hear from you. Have you made any of these mistakes? Do you have questions about any of them?
Yes, you can leave us a comment below this video or you can send us a message. We read every single comment and we love hearing from you.
And if this episode helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps other English learners find our videos.
Most importantly, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that notification bell. We post new episodes every week and we have so many more helpful topics coming up.
Next week, we're going to talk about 5 ways to sound more natural in English conversations. It's going to be really practical and fun.
I'm so excited about that episode. We'll share some secrets that even advanced learners don't know.
It's going to be great. But for now, let's finish with our usual reminder. English learning is a journey, not a race.
That's right. Be patient with yourself, celebrate small victories, and remember that every mistake is a chance to learn something new.
Perfect. And most importantly, keep speaking English. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. That's how we all learned.
Absolutely. The more you practice, the more confident you will become. And confidence is the key to fluent English.
So true. All right, everyone, that's all for today's episode of Speak Now. Thank you so much for listening.
Thank you for being such wonderful learners. We'll see you next week for another episode of Speak Now. Until then, keep practicing, keep speaking, and keep believing in yourself.
Keep up the great work, and remember, you've got this. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.